My third husband is a monster. He was born as a result of a marriage between a human king and an unholy monster. When he was a child, he was avoided by everyone, even his mother, forsaken in his own homeland. He found solace in the battlefield. When my own father forced me to marry for the sake of my family, I was horrified. When the Duke sees himself in the mirror, he finds a monster and wants to hide it at any cost. That's why, on our wedding day, he hid his face, and at our first encounter, he covered my eyes. Yet he doesn't know that he is the greatest and the most noble husband in the world, and I will try to win his trust just to see his face. Our hero is the Duke, a war hero known for his cruelty. He is the illegitimate son for the most evil king. They say that my husband is a merciless monster, cold as his sword in the battlefield. But sometimes I feel that he is the one I was waiting for all my life. Even though I don't know anything about him, he becomes a delicate and sensitive man when he's with me. A man chose to give himself to a cursed woman. Every man that I marry dies. When Lily asks Tristan, "Do I have to marry him?" Tristan answers with a yes and assures her that he will be with her every step of the way. Our story starts with Lily in the church at her second husband's funeral, and everyone in the church whispers about her curse, that everyone she marries dies, and she only married them for their fortune. Suddenly, in the middle of her despair, her father comes and tells her to be prepared to get married as soon as they return home. She asks him, "Why?" And he answers, "I don't want a cursed woman like you in my family. I have to get rid of you. And don't tell me that you loved your dead husband. Your next husband is the Duke." She tells him that the funeral isn't finished yet, and she doesn't want to marry again. So he threatens her. "Do you want me to throw you and your siblings in the street? Listen to me. They need you. Either you marry the Duke, or I will throw you all in the street. And you are the oldest. This is your responsibility. And this time, try to give us an heir before you curse your new husband." When Lily is left alone, she is left with her thoughts. How will I marry an unholy monster's son? Everyone speaks of his cruelty, but what choice do I have? After the marriage is finished, she rides the carriage to get to her new home. The handmaid tells her, "Try not to uncover his face. It's a tiresome marriage, but these are the rules. Do as you're told." Lily asks the maid, "I heard that the castle is in the middle of nowhere. Is that true?" The maid answers, "Pray that we don't find any monsters on our way." Suddenly, the carriage hits something, and the soldiers shout, "Beast, protect our lady." The maid grabs Lily and tells her, "My lady, should you get hurt, let it be anywhere but your face. If you get so much as a scratch on your face, your husband will." She didn't get to finish her sentence because there was a huge wolf-like monster standing on its feet, and the handmaid fainted. Suddenly, blood splashed on Lily's carriage window, and she was staring at the most captivating grey eyes. She asked the man who saved her, "Are you perhaps the Duke? If not, then I apologize. You see, I have yet to see the Duke's face." No answer. She thinks to herself, could he be fighting alone, or could he be a knight commander heading a battlefield? Suddenly, a soldier comes running and shouting, "We have trouble. We spotted a rather large beast lurking around here. What should we do about the lady?" When she turns to look at the man who saved her, she finds him glaring, and finally he speaks and tells the soldier, "I'll mobilize the others and have her escorted safely." She asks the man, "Excuse me, sir, but are you going to fight the monster alone? I know it takes an order of knights to handle such a large beast. Please, you don't have to do this for me." A loud scream. "Oh, my lady," the maid screams. "You're not hurt, are you? You can't have a single scratch on you." The man walks away and calls for Talon and tells her, "See that my wife makes it to the castle. I'll stay behind and take care of the beast, and do something about that handmaid." They can still hear the handmaid screaming, "Do you know how much this dress is worth?" The mysterious man was the Duke indeed. At night, Lily asks the handmaid, "Do I have to keep my eyes covered like this?" The handmaids answer, It's the Duke's order. And then she leaves, leaving Lily in the darkness. Then she hears footsteps and asks, "Who's there?" Then comes the Duke's voice. It appears my wife is the curious and anxious sort. Lily tries to go to the Duke, but stumbles and finds herself in the Duke's arms. And he says, "Have you been waiting for me, Lily?" When Lily wakes up, she can't help but think about the warmth of the Duke's voice and the sound of his heartbeat. Things she finds herself longing for, things she never found in her previous husbands. She looks around searching for the Duke, but he's nowhere to be found. Then she searches for her handmaid, wondering if she's even allowed to leave her chambers. When Lily opens the door, she bumps into a young maid, knocking off the maid's tray. Immediately, the young girl apologizes. "My lady, I'm so very sorry. You almost got hurt because of my carelessness. Please forgive me, my lady. Most of the maids are away at the moment, so I've stepped in to help. You're not hurt, are you?" the young maid asks, trembling. Lily asks the young maid, "Are you hurt? I hope no broken glass scratched your legs." The maid answers, "No, not at all." Lily can't help but think that the young woman looks like her siblings, always so flustered when they make a mistake. Then she tells the maid, "There's no need to apologize over something so trivial as this. Besides, I startled you just as much." The young woman takes Lily on a tour through the castle. Then Lily told the young woman about her former husbands and how they treated her badly. Even the maids wouldn't dare to acknowledge her, a commoner. Then Lily asks the young maid, "What did you say your name was?" "Buttercup, was it?" The maid nods. Then Lily goes on, "That's why I'm so thankful for you, Buttercup. You've introduced me to such a wonderful place. And thank you for taking care of me and helping me around." Buttercup couldn't help but wonder. The Duke must have married an angel. When Lily asks Buttercup, "Tell me about the Duke. What kind of person is he?" Buttercup answers with admiration in her voice. "The Duke is a wonderful person. As you might imagine, people like me are lucky to even be alive," pointing at her artificial leg. "It's impossible for us to get married or hold down a stable job, but our gracious Duke allows people of all kinds to work here. And he pays well too. He is very kind, but can be quite strict at times. You see, my lady, the Duke didn't intentionally leave you alone. He went to fetch a priest because you were running a fever." Lily then asks, "A fever? Me?" and finds out that last night she lost consciousness with a fever. And when the priest arrives, he asks the Duke, "What happened?" The Duke then says, "I don't know. She lost consciousness all of a sudden." The priest tells the Duke that she doesn't have any organic disease. In fact, her encounter with that monster during her journey must have been shocking. And then you had to go and cover her eyes at night. No wonder she collapsed. I assure you, she'll be perfectly fine. It's not uncommon for people to die of fever, but I'm far more capable than those bold priests. When Lily starts to gain her consciousness, the Duke rushes to her side and asks her, "Are you all right?" Lily then calls him, "Tristan, please don't tell father I've come down with a fever. Otherwise, my siblings will be punished. Promise me, please, Tristan." When the Duke assures her, "I understand. I will do as you say," she falls back to sleep, leaving the Duke wondering, who is Tristan? Is he her brother or a lover? Then he tells the priest, "I will watch over her tonight. You may go." The priest then asks the Duke, "If I may, how long do you plan to hide your face from her?" The Duke answers him, "I can't possibly show such a sensitive woman this face of mine, or I will shock her." The priest couldn't help but ask, "Your Grace, with all due respect, have you ever looked into the mirror before?" The Duke walks to the mirror and says, "Not with this hideous face of mine." Back to Buttercup and Lily. Lily thanks Buttercup and asks her about her former handmaid. Buttercup tells her that the handmaid was banished from the castle the day you arrived. But if I'm being honest, I'm not entirely certain. They hear a knocking on the door. "May I enter, my lady?" says the priest. "Yes, you may come in." Lily thanks the priest and tells him, I'm in good health now, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to properly introduce myself earlier. The priest tells her, I am the one who should be apologizing for not having introduced myself before. I am Ivan Kirchin, and I'm the Duke's loyal priest. Anyhow, thank you for recovering so quickly, my lady. It would be most inconvenient where he would have to slit the throat of another staff member. Ivan jokes about how the Duke killed more than one staff member because Lily had a fever. Immediately, Lily asks about Buttercup, afraid what the Duke might do to the young maid. When the priest laughs, Lily then understands that he was kidding and gets annoyed and tells him that those sorts of jokes are below him. The priest then tells her, just think of me as a pitiful chaplain, one that's been dragged around from one battlefield to the next by my cold hearted master. When Lily tells Ivan, as far as I know, a military chaplain is a voluntary position, so what you just said doesn't seem to be entirely truthful. Ivan then muses, my lady, you're different from what I'd expected. I would like to see you and the Duke support each other and succeed together. Lily asks Ivan, what kind of a man is the Duke? I'd like to hear your account of him. Ivan then asks Lily, haven't you seen his face yet? When she nods, he then continues, you don't need to explain any further. You see, the Duke is an awkward fellow. Things can go on like this. If you wish to see your husband's face, then we shall visit him right this minute, my lady. When Lily walks out in her baby blue dress, we see Buttercup so amazed by Lily's beauty. When Lily sees Buttercup and the new maid communicating by sign language, she decides to learn it, so she can speak to the new maid. Buttercup then informs Lily that the Duke himself chose every dress for her, and if the Duke was here, he would have fell in love for her beauty. The new maid asks how Lily's father discovered 3 diamond mines. Lily then thinks to herself, if I hadn't approved to this marriage, my father wouldn't have been allowed to work in the Emperor Castle, even though I was the one who discovered the diamond mines, but no one knows. Ivan then enters and asks Lily, are you ready, my lady? Then walks her to the knight's training grounds. Lily anxiously thinks to herself, am I overdressed? And suddenly they hear the sound of shots fired. Then Talons appear and scold the priest. How could you bring Lily here? Are you out of your mind? And then turns to Lily and assures her that this sound is a part of the training. Lily then thanks Talon for accompanying her to the castle when they were attacked. Talon, touched by Lily's kindness, tells Lily, if the Duke starts a war on your behalf, no one will blame him. Lily then awkwardly thanks Talons and tells her, it's a very kind compliment of you. Lily hears a man calling after Talon and informing her that they need more gunpowder for the rifles. Just when Ivan was telling Talon that the Duke doesn't deserve to be with a beautiful and kind woman such as Lily, he finds the Duke standing behind him, glaring at him. Lily is the only one who doesn't know what the Duke looks like, and everyone is calling him the commander. So she thinks, every time he sees me, he gets angry. Am I offending him somehow? The Duke then asks her, what are you doing here? Lily immediately apologizes and tells the Duke, I didn't mean to bother anyone. I only came here to see my husband. We just married yesterday, but I didn't see his face yet. When Ivan and Talon tries to handle the situation, Lily tells the commander, I am here to see my husband. No woman trusts a husband who hides his face from her. To be continued.